So today we are looking at evaluating functions. We will be evaluating functions both from an equation and from a graph. So first thing that we need to know is our new function notation. So f is a function of x, and this can be written as f of x. So that means function of x. Instead of having y equals equations, we are now going to have f of x equals equations. So this is called function notation, and really it's just a new way of writing a function. Yeah. Hey. When we are evaluating using function notation, we are going to substitute in our value for x. We show our work when doing that. So today, I need you to show your work plugging in what you're plugging in for x. So that way, if you don't get the right answer, I need to be able to figure out if it's whether you did the math wrong or you plugged it in wrong, because it's 50-50. Once you do that, you just simplify it out. When I said we have f of x, we can also label our functions other things. So we can also have g of x, h of x, or really any other letter. F, G, H, people use j and k a lot, but those are the most common ones. So given the function f of x equals 2x squared minus 5, we are asked to find f of negative 2. So this function notation, the x has been replaced by a negative 2. That's telling us to replace this x with a negative 2. So let me zoom in. Let's go ahead and do that. So we're plugging in negative 2 for x. So we still have the 2. And then for the x, we're going to plug in negative 2. Anytime we plug something in, we're putting it in parentheses. And then we've got squared minus 5. If you do not put numbers in parentheses, especially if you are squaring them or if they are negative, in this case both, you are going to get the wrong answer. From there, we are going to either simplify this out by hand or plug it into a calculator. Let's actually simplify it out by hand first. What is negative 2 squared? 4. Why did I do that first? Yes. PEMDAS, order of operations, exponents comes first before multiplication. So I would do negative 2 squared, which would be 4. So we get 2 times 4 minus 5. Then I can do 2 times 4, which is 8 minus 5. And then 8 minus 5 is 3. You could also just plug this whole thing into your calculator. I wanted to show you doing it by hand because if I don't show it to you, someone tries to do it and then forgets that order of operations is the thing. So 2 times negative 2 squared minus 5. Turn down the brightness on this. And I get 3. Okay. Any questions about that one? Yeah. No. All we're being asked to do right now is evaluate. Could I graph this? Yes. That's not what we're doing. We're just being asked to find f of negative 2. Okay, next one. G of x equals 7x minus 11. We're asked to find g of 3. So we have a completely different function. We're asked to plug 3 in. So this one's going to be 7 times 3 minus 11. Okay, 7 times 3 is 21. 21 minus 11 is 10. I could also do this in a calculator. 7 times 3 minus 11. Oh, is 10. Okay. Any questions about that guy? Hey, last one. H of x equals 1/3 x plus 2. So I have a new function. When you see a fraction, what we're not going to do is we're not going to freak out because fractions are just division. So I'm going to plug in 6. It's going to be 1/3 times 6 plus 2. What is a third of 6? 2. This is not the question that's being asked, but I want to ask you this right now. What is 2/3 of 6? 4. So if 1/3 is 2, 2/3 would be 4, 3/3 would be 6. So we can get what a third of 6 is by doing 6 divided by 3. 6 divided by 3 is 2. So this is now 2 plus 2, and that is 4. If fractions scare you, you can just put them in your calculator. Fractions are just division. So in your calculator, you just put 1 divided by 3 times 2. Don't put in a tangent. Plus 2. Thank you. You should correctly plug in the number 6. There we go. Okay, so a third of 6 plus 2. I was like, what happened to math? All right, the last problem here asks us to find f of negative 2 plus g of 3, but it doesn't give us any other information. We have already found f of negative 2. So our f function, when we plugged in negative 2, was 3. So f of negative 2 was 3, plus g of 3 was 10. So we are being asked to use that function notation, find what our answer was here, find what our answer was here, and just add those together. So 3 plus 10 is 13. Okay, any questions right now? Okay, go ahead and glue this into your notebook while I pass out your assignments. And then I want to show you a few things on your assignments before I set you free. Okay. Still see a few blue sticks moving. All right. So close to be done. All right. On the assignment, the front side, it's split up by equation. So it asks you to use f of x for these 3, find g of x for these 3, use h of x for these 3. So on the front side, it's organized by equation. That part's pretty straightforward. You use the same equation 3 times each. On the back side, it's all mixed up because we want you guys to practice using that function notation and finding the function you're supposed to be using. So if it says f of 4, you use the f of x function, plug in 4. Then h of negative 2, we need to use the h of x function, plug in negative 2. And then f of negative 3, we use f of x again. And then there's a g finally, we use g. That makes sense? So use the function that's being named. Then down here at the bottom, all of these should be up there somewhere. You're going to add, subtract, and multiply down here, though. So pay attention to that. All right, get to work. We're going to work on this for a while, and then we will move on and do 4.4 today as well.